Fresh from the showcase here at SwissWatchExpo, is this the most expensive video I've done yet? Probably, because we're talking about Patek Complications. This week at SwissWatchExpo, we are really breaking out the big guns, as it were. We've got some real high dollar pieces to come in, or coming in recently. Really been blowing the mind here at the sales staff. And of course, was super excited with a pair of Patek Complications that we just got in. And very lucky they made it to video day at that. We've got two incredible models in precious metal with, as you might guess, complications. Of course, this is a huge part of Patek's heritage and about the history of the brand. One of the first, if not the first, annual calendar on a wristwatch, and that is what both of these are. And it definitely celebrates the history and heritage of this incredibly opulent brand, as well as really showcasing some of the new directions that they are going in, because these are both very modern pieces. One of them is, in fact, a current production model. But I'll get to that one later. This first one might be the most impressive one, though, of the two. This is an incredible Complications annual calendar chronograph in a platinum case. So already that is a mouthful, but that is a lot of very expensive things, which is why I got to make sure my grip on this watch is really great for this video. This is absolutely not going to be for everyone. This is probably a lot of people's grail watch, but as watch fans, we're just super excited that we get to show this to you because there's so many incredible things about this watch. First of all, the dial. And one of the great things I love about the Patek Complications dial is just how elegantly they are laid out. And that is especially important when you consider just how much stuff this dial is trying to tell you. The first thing, this is an annual calendar, so you get the day of the week, month, and the day of the month all laid out beautifully here along the top row. Kind of equally spaced apart, and I do love the offset angles that the month and the day are both set at. So I think it's a little bit of like a fun kind of touch, which is something sort of a very serious type of brand like Patek doesn't really make super wacky, ostentatious things, but I do like the way that they laid this particular thing out here. Of course, you've got Patek Philippe Genève right below that, but in between the two, one of my favorites is a power reserve indicator. One of the many things that they included on this dial, they didn't have to. I don't even know if a lot of people other than myself would be clamoring for a power reserve indicator on an annual calendar watch, but by golly, Patek did it on this one, and it's so subtle that you wouldn't even know it's there unless you know what it's looking for. But right above the Patek Philippe script here and right below the date, the plus and minus sign actually is the power reserve indicator, which is kind of important when you consider, you know, an annual calendar. You're going to want to keep this on a watch winder. You're not going to want to let this run out, or it is going to be such a pain to get this thing back up to the current date. We do have the chronograph hands and the minute and hour hands here, which are both beautiful and right in the center of the dial where they belong. The one thing you won't see here is a running seconds hand. That is the one thing this watch lacks, but I can't really say that you would miss that when you consider all the other amazing things you're going to get with it. It has a single subdial chronograph, which I think is really cool and also a really great way to use the somewhat limited space that you have. This is a 41 millimeter platinum case, which is pretty large as far as Patek goes, but they definitely wanted to leave a lot of negative space here to show this beautiful blue color on the dial. And I think sort of finding a way to sort of get all of your chronograph information pared down into a single subdial, which I think is a brilliant use of space and just really great to read once you get a chance to get the hang of it. So to sort of explain what it is, you do have your 30-minute indicator here, which is actually sort of doubled. Whereas you actually have two rows of numbers, an inner ring counting up to 60 and then an outer ring counting up to 30. And then you also have 12 hours in between there, whereas the 12-hour chronograph is going to be indicated by this white hand here on the subdial, and the smaller chronograph subdial will be read by the red hand here. It did take a little bit to figure out when you first got it, but this is something where as the owner of the watch, you would definitely familiarize yourself with very quickly. And it's a really great way that you can read that information on the fly without sacrificing any of the legibility with the other parts of this annual calendar. So now kind of zooming out a little bit and talking about the case, what I particularly love about this watch is the case size. It's much larger at 41 millimeters than I think you would expect. And that's what I love about sort of the direction that dress watches are going in, going larger. The annual calendars and the super complicated watches that Patek have made in the past were even noticeably smaller than this. So this is not a watch case getting bigger to sort of fit all of these complications inside of it. This is a intentional design choice to sort of catch up to the size of what popular dress watches are looking like now. So I have no doubt in my mind that Patek could have made this case a lot smaller had they wanted to, but for a watch this impressive, something you definitely want to show off if you own, I think this case size is really great, even if it's not 100% necessary. This is a beautiful classic looking strap here too. I do love the red stitching. It's almost a little bit, I'd say, sportier or less traditional for such a watch like this, but I do love that it's a fun little look. This is an original Patek strap, and it really does not appear to have any wear on it at all. And of course, you also have the platinum deployant buckle here with the Patek logo, which I think is definitely going to be vital for a watch like this. This is an incredibly impressive piece, least of all considering this is a platinum case. So on top of everything else, you've got that going for you as well. And now moving on to this next one. This is actually a current production model. I believe the model number here, the 5396R. This is a bit more elegant pared down watch, but it is so beautiful and has so many incredible things going for it. It does have an annual calendar, not a chronograph, but one of my favorite, perhaps not the most practical complications, a moon phase indicator, which looks so beautiful, and beauty is very important when you're talking about a watch of this caliber. It looks elegant and incredible on this navy blue dial, a rich, rich color. And you also do have a 24-hour subdial, not a GMT, but a 24-hour subdial bordering the moon phase indicator there, which I think just looks absolutely incredible. And of course, the one thing is, I'm sure you've noticed with your eyes trained on this dial, traditionally this watch did have like applied brigade text numerals, but this one they decided to upgrade with baguette diamonds. So while this doesn't quite have the complications of the earlier one, this is an absolute stunner from the second you lay your eyes on it. You do have all in a straight line here, your annual calendar references with your day and date and month, and of course a beautiful 18 karat rose case. This one's slightly smaller at 39 millimeters, but of course you don't have all those complications. It is a lot thinner than the other one and a lot more dressy too, which I also think lends right into this beautiful navy blue strap. I think the only color that would really be appropriate on this when you consider the color of this dial, it matches it perfectly, and that is really sort of the standard that you need to be working with a watch like this. I am totally cool with customizing watches with straps and sort of marching to the beat of your own drum, but something like this, I really think there's only a few things that'll work on it, and this beautiful navy blue lizard skin strap is definitely going to be one of them. A little bit thinner lugs too. There's a lot more dressier about this than the other one. I really can't help but compare the two because they're really the only two watches exactly like this that we have, and it's so incredible. And one thing that this one's has that the other one's lacking, exhibition case back with an absolutely incredible movement here. This one really did deserve to have the case back opened. The jewels here are incredible. The rotor looks incredible with the Patek logo etched very subtly onto the bottom of it. And much like the other one, you do have the same matching gold deployant buckle with the Patek logo here on the back. These are some incredible pieces that we have. And we're not alone. I think the other videos you are going to see posted within the next couple of weeks are really going to show you sort of the added level of elegance that we've got. We've got some really incredible grail watches coming in that some of you have probably been looking for quite a while. And for those of you who haven't quite got there yet or aren't quite ready to buy your grail watch, do not worry. We still have all the Datejust, we still have all the Cartiers, the Omegas, and all the brands you've come to know and love, and you are going to see those videos coming up shortly. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you enjoy everything else you're going to see coming up. And of course, give us a call, find out what else we got. We can't do videos about everything, so you need to ask us at SwissWatchExpo.com.